So let me talk about the broadcast just a little bit.
Yeah.
I had a good time last night. I think the fights did it for us as a group collectively. I thought that everybody did their job very well last night. But Fox brought in Carissa Thompson. She came in. We talked a little bit before we went out to do our thing. And she was like, "Hey, this is your show. I'm just here to kind of, navigate through. And, I don't come from boxing. So da. I said, listen, I'll help wherever the help needs to be. I said, but you gotta understand, I'm a passer too. I said, you're gonna pass it to me, and I'm going right to Mikey. He said, no, what are you talking about? I said, it's just how I am. Like that. Everybody's got to get the ball. We get on the stage, and we're going through our rehearsal, and I mean, pro to the max.
Yeah,
she's going through the rehearsal, effing it up, and she's just like, it is what it is, and I'm like, hey. I know my job. I know my little talking points. Mikey tight. I've been working with Mikey all week. We good. I'm seeing her fumble, but it is what it is. When we finished rehearsal was so chopped up. She looked at us. She said, "Hey, so it's almost time to go. Let's have some fun." And I said, "Let's do it." And that's exactly what we did, man. She set the tone, and I think everything else just kind of carried its weight, man. But I had a great time with her. Of course, Kate Abdo was missed. And we look forward to having her back. But if Kate can't miss it, I think Carissa's the next one to go, man.
Yeah. I think a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had fun. It was fun watching you guys. It was a good broadcast. It was a fun broadcast.
Yeah.
The StubHub, well, what's it called now? Dignity Health.
Yeah, Dignity Health Park. Yeah.
And cool Digital Underground Shock G hat, Carson.
Got you. RIP.
Shout out to Shock G.
No,
but
nice.
he should have been there last night at the fights.
Yeah, no doubt. So I don't know how much you guys got into the fights because I was showing up on time and you guys were early, but
pretty much.
So Zytel felt very differently about the card than I did. I don't know if that was discussed already.
The entire card, or like what?
The card in its entirety.
We haven't talked about it, Carson. You didn't miss anything. See, Carson.
Okay, I didn't know. I don't know if you guys were cooking me before I got on here or
not at all.
In-depth discussion.
We ignored the fact that you weren't on.
No, that's fine.
As in a white face, that's all.
Yeah, as it should be.
Part of why I was enjoying the broadcast was you guys were having a good time and you captured the feel. I believe everyone on the panel has been there. It's so fun to go to that arena and has it's a different environment than it is anywhere else to go to fights. And I thought the Fox broadcast, kind of the way they shot it and the way the atmosphere was, I felt like I was back at the StubHub again in Carson. So that was great. But Carson, part of why I enjoyed it so much was, well, one part is when you're covering the fight, you're very like tense and watching everyone walk around for interviews. So when I'm home kicking back, I'm just like so happy to just the fights.
Yeah.
And some of the Figueroa's fight, for example, wasn't competitive, and I really hated to see the health problems that he, spitting up blood the way he was. I'm sure we'll get to that more.
Yeah.
But even in a one-sided fight where when the fight's over and I feel bad for the guy afterwards, I just love it when there's action. And we had a lot of action Saturday night, except even Molina Ramos was good, but Cota and Fundora was a slugfest. Figueroa got pounded on, and it wasn't a technical, methodical beating. You got to see a good ass whooping for 4 or 5 rounds. And then the main event delivered way more than any of us thought. Maybe Shawn expected it, but me and you, Carson and Ant, we thought Ruiz was going to win this fight by knockout. So it was a good broadcast. It was a fun broadcast, and shout out to you guys for capturing kind of the vibe of what it's like to be at Dignity Health.
And going back to that, so we I don't know if everybody says this, but I've heard this mimicked around the production crew drinking the Kool-Aid, and basically because we have to promote the fight so much, we talk about it same points every time we come on TV. You say you start to drink the Kool-Aid, and basically you believe in everything that you may be saying, even though you may not be believing it when you say it.
Talk yourself into it.
You still have to promote the fight, and you end up drinking the Kool-Aid and all that kind of stuff. So,
one thing I love that you guys did, though, was at no point during the broadcast did you guys say, like, 50-50 fight. You know, you guys didn't build this Arreola, the nightmare, the underdog. He might. People, the tone was more like, this should be fun.
Yeah.
Ruiz is a huge favorite, but this should be fun. And then turns out it was competitive.
Yeah. So if we go back to NBC being in Puerto Rico, every time we went on air, they were talking Puerto Rico versus Mexico and what that means to boxing. I mean, we said it so much. I was like, okay, I think this is a bit much. I think we feeding this, but every time they went on, they delivered. It was like, all right, well, you know, they did it. So you fast forward to this one, it's like, you know, we talked about Chris Arreola and Andy Ruiz. We talked about the Dignity Health part, aka this. Oh, I probably shouldn't do that. And we talked about the energy in there and all that kind of stuff. And it's like we're like almost drinking the Kool-Aid. We said it so much, but then it actually delivered last night, which I thought was pretty awesome. So if you hear the energy a little different from me, I kind of felt like, well, I don't kind of. I know that Charissa played a part in that because, and I'm learning more. So like I'm learning. Once you go off of Fox Network television, you go on to pay-per-view. It's not no holds barred, but it's,
you heard what Chris Arreola said after the fight.
That can happen. You know what I mean? So in that respect, I'm starting to learn like, hey, you can do a little more on pay-per-view. Not that I want to, you know, say anything derogatory or anything like that, but stories can be a little longer. You know, you can have the camera on yourself a little longer, like I do on the podcast and things like that. And I was able to just really open up and have a lot of fun. And I think that the viewers at home benefited from that. And I think that the Dignity Health Park being able to be open, I think that everybody else except for the few fights that we had in the stands benefited from that. So.
I was gonna say 2 things to mention about Dignity Health before we get to the fights. One, the one guy stole my shirt that I wore to your fight versus Ugas.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
We'll post it because it was unbelievable. Like exact same shirt, exact same venue. I might have left it there. He might have found it. But you mentioned the fights in the crowd. There were some serious throwdowns in the crowd, man.
Like, I hated it. I hated it because it just looks messy. Because it looks messy.
You're a professional.
Because like, okay, so I'm the same way. Like when the NBA players start getting into it, I'm like, chill out. We don't need a repeat of, I don't know what year that was. We don't need a repeat of that. You know what I mean? And the Pacers. And then the same thing like for football, like them big dudes, when they start pushing it all, it just looks ugly. And so I just always want my sport represented well. I think that you know, the alcohol got into the system last night. And the worst part about it is because if you didn't like it, I didn't like it. So the worst part about it is we have COVID situation going on. So there's nobody to come save the day. You know what I mean? I'm not used to a street fight lasting more than 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Last night, guys was lining up.
They were getting it in.
It was tagging out.
They
were tagging
out.
Yeah, I heard he's got a family.
They were rumbling.
When you got enough time to think and line yourself up, I said, this is too much.
Hey, one man was giving all body shots.
Yeah, I think I saw the Dudley boys up there going through tables. It was the best was it's during the main event, and so you see. And it's funny. You see actual fighters turned away from the fight and looking up at the fights in the crowd.
We broadcasting. They announced Chris Arreola's coming to the ring. Then you see a whole bunch of people get up. And from where I'm sitting, everybody got up behind me. I said, oh, shit, Chris coming from behind. Oh. I said, that's not Chris. Stay focused, Shawn. Stay focused. God, somebody need to stop that. Like, you know what I mean? It was bad. Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.